Hey folks, welcome to an episode of Farming with Chef Matt. I'm going back to that playlist I started, that series I started, except this time it's the 7 do's and don'ts of shopping anywhere. Now, I thought I'd never have to do something like this, but there are elderly without toilet paper. Okay, that's pretty dang bad. There's elderly that don't have soap. That's bad, okay? It's not because they can't physically get to the store. It's because of this. 1, there's a difference between going and stocking up. God, I can't even believe I'm explaining this to adults. There's a difference between stocking up and raiding a store. Okay. Stocking up is where you go in as a kind, generous human being, buy 1 case of toilet paper, maybe 2, but to literally buy as much as you can get your hands on is where the line is drawn between reasonable and unreasonable. Okay? Please be decent. There are more people that need toilet paper than your family. You do not need 27. You don't need any more than 4 cases a visit to the store. Hell, you don't even need more than 3. I go through 4 rolls of toilet paper a year, maybe 5. If your household goes through any more, now, yeah, I understand, I'm a guy. But for a family of 4, let's say 2 men, 2 women, if you're going through any more than 9 rolls of toilet paper per person per year, you need to do something about that. Because, quite frankly, you need to learn to control. And I'm not saying micromanage. I'm just saying learn how to manage your family. And quite frankly, I don't mean to sound like a pessimist. I don't mean to sound micromanagerial. I'm just going to say it like it is. Okay? Give me a moment. I'm adjusting the tractor on the farm simulator. Yeah, I'm gaming while I do videos. And if you have an issue with that, you do have the freedom to click in a different video, but I strongly advise you bear with me on this one. There's valuable information in this video. Information that those who do stick around are thankful for. Alright? I'm going to show you something here. I'm not making this up. I can't. This centerpiece here in the roll is a waste of space in your storage. So here's what you do. There's 1 square. 2 squares, 3 squares, 4 squares, okay? There's 4 squares of toilet paper. Is it time consuming? Yes. But stack them up a little like this. Especially if you got a toddler, you got to do this. There's another 4 right there. And if you're really smart about how you do it, you'll create a jig. If you know what a jig is, then you're a fabricator, most likely, or a carpenter. But literally, just by simply taking the time to stack up your toilet paper like this, is going to do 2 things. It's going to condense down your storage space within your house and as to how much you have left, because volume is expensive. Okay, just do that. And, you know, quite frankly, if there's 2 of you using the restroom, let's say there's 2 ladies using the restroom, I'd recommend maybe 6 of these segments of 4. Okay? But ultimately, and I'm not saying that you need to micromanage. I'm just saying that, you know, every morning, put 2 per hole that needs wiped. And you know what? At the end of the day, you can always go into your supply room and grab a little bit more. And for crying out loud, I don't want to hear, but my toddler is special. Even though he goes through half a roll, he'll come through this stage. Hey, look, he's 2. He doesn't know any better. He doesn't care. He has no concept of right and wrong yet. You have to teach him. And if that means he has to go without TP for his bunghole every once in a while, then do it. He's got to learn the hard way. Yes, he's got to learn to wipe his butthole, but for crying out loud, he needs to learn that there's more than one person that needs toilet paper on the planet. He needs to learn the concept of there's a heck of a lot of people that need toilet paper. And not only that, that little volume in the middle, you're actually adding that space to your closet. Also, if you're not taking them out the bag, and even more so if they're individually wrapped too, if you're not taking them out the bag and stacking them like I showed you in a video previously, which that reminds me I forgot to transfer that over to this channel. So I'll cross-upload that one. But please, folks, enjoy that one, okay? Number 2, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it is perfectly okay to, when you see an old man standing there, standing in front of you, and you've got 2, and it's just you're a couple, and you got 2 cases. When you exit the store, you when you're standing there in line and he's right in front of you, you say, "Sir, hang around a minute. I've got a gift for you." If you have more than you need and you're in the position to help the elderly out, please, I encourage you to do so. Even something as simple as toilet paper. Something as simple as a 2-pound bag of rice. This right here can make an old man's day. That's only about $4 tops at the store in my area. You would not believe how many elderly men that I walked up to because I had bought 3 because they weren't selling much. I needed to show a little more demand on them. So I bought 3 and I'm in the store behind this old man. I said, "Sir, I need to pay something forward. Hang around a minute. Give me 5 minutes. Let me check out. It's only going to take me about 3 or 4 minutes, but just hang around for 5 or so minutes. I've got something for you. Just bear with me." I walked up to him. I finished my purchase. Transaction accepted. I reached over into one of my bags, grabbed a bag of rice, grabbed a bag of beans, because I bought 2 bags of beans, and I only go through about a bean, I only go through about a pound a month. Reached over, I said, "Sir, this is for you. Many people have bought food for me, and you know what? I know that you've served. You're wearing the hat. You got the walk. And quite frankly, I have, my late granddad served. My granddad on the other side of the family served. My dad, he served under the firefighting branch of things. I said, "Sir, I really, of all people that I'd like to pay this forward to the most, it's someone like you." And he said, "Young man, I came back from Vietnam, hated by everyone around me. I asked God what the heck is going on, and young man, God said, this too shall pass. Society will realize how wrong you were and the rest of us." He said, he looked over at me and he said, "Sir, you have no idea how much this means to me." I said, "Sir, got something I want to show you." I whipped out my other wallet and I showed him. He goes, "Beautiful choice. Beautiful choice." And I'm not going to say publicly what was in my other wallet. And I said, "Sir, if you give me a moment, I've got one more thing in my backpack for you." He goes, "Oh man, it's one of the nicest things anyone's ever done for me." And I said, "Sir, no need to worry about it. It's my pleasure. I thank you, and you are welcome for this. I had just bought a box of 12-gauge shot shells, because it's a really common, Remington 12-gauge shotgun shells are a really commonly used ammunition. I reached into my pack. I said, "Sir, I bought this case with a guy like you in mind. I'd like for you to have this." He said, "Young man, what do you shoot? I said, I used to shoot 20 gauge all the time. I, under some terrible circumstances, had to forgo my guns and ammunition because of some issues. And he goes, you know, young man, got something for you. He reached in his pocket and he handed me a pocket knife that he had when he was in Boy Scouts. And I looked at him and I said, what level did you make it up to? He reached into his pocket and he showed me his Eagle Scout badge, or his Eagle Scout patch. And I said, you made it farther than I did, but I got 2 degrees in agriculture through FFA. I said, young man, I made it to my Washington degree. Skoog still the advisor? I said, yes, sir. Phone number hasn't changed in at least a decade, I can assure you that. Because I remember it. Said, he's over at the high school 9 days out of 10. Except when he's doing an FFA field trip, you won't find him at school. They've greatly expanded the program. The ag program is one of the best in the state now. It went from being one of the smallest in the state to now it's one of the most diverse and well done in the state. And he said, what was your main role in Boy Scouts and in FFA? And I said, sir, God, it comes with the territory, but color guard. No one could do it as good as I could at that time, except for the military. Right there, we saluted each other. And he said, young man, may I hug you? I know coronavirus and whatnot is kind of the scare right now, but quite frankly, for what I've been through, nothing scares me. And I said, you know, I'm pretty sure I could say the same. And he said, young man, just remember this. Always remember where home is. Always remember your history. Pass it down to the next generations. Sir, I know what they do to history in the textbooks. I've already been doing so. He looked me in the eye and he said, an observant guy you are. I said, yep. I tend to be very observant. It's what makes me the big bucks. So remember, folks, if you're going to do something stupid and you see me, run. And I don't literally mean run. I mean just forget your stupid crime you were going to commit. Move it along. I'm no snitch, but I am a mandatory reporter. That's all I got to say. Now, number 3 about stores is not necessarily a sad one at all, but 3 is keep your neighbors in mind. If you got an elderly neighbor that has a really tough time getting around and doesn't get out a heck of a lot, it's perfectly okay to walk over and check on him every once in a while, or check on her every once in a while. That little That little gesture right there, you would truly be amazed how something literally as simple as knocking on your elderly neighbor's door and checking in on them, seeing if they need anything, see if there's anything you could do to assist. And I'm not saying that you need to be super persistent about it. Just, like if you're going off to the store and you pass by one of your elderly neighbors' houses, it's okay to pull over a minute. Go knock on the door. Say, hey, I'm driving over to the store. Is there anything you'd like? If he says, if your elderly neighbor says, if you give me a few minutes, let me grab my stuff and I'd like to go with you. That little gesture there that you just made by bringing him to the store or bringing her to the store, you have no idea what that means to an elderly person. You'll never comprehend it until you look into their eyes, especially if they had to forgo their license and are relying on a caregiver or relying on their spouse that still works. You have no idea how much that means to a person like that. If you're in a position to be able to help someone and it ain't gonna cost you any extra, please do it. I got a story about a time where Prep Cook and I were we're taking some stuff to the storage unit. We were about a block away, actually about 2 blocks away, and we were in a parking lot. This young man walks up to me, says, hey, got my pickup with me, it's nice and clean. You look like you're headed over to the storage facility. I said, yeah, I'm headed to the storage facility. I think I can get it. He goes, no, it won't be any trouble to me. I'll have to do my good deed of the day. I said, are you sure? He goes, 100% certain. I said, all right. I absolutely appreciate it, sir. He already had his tailgate down and was helping me set it in the bed of his truck. He shut the tailgate. I jumped in his truck. We went to the storage unit. We dropped off my belongings, our belongings that I was putting in storage. He was talking about how his son just wants to sit there and play these pointless, stupid video games, and quite frankly, I can definitely say that Call of Duty and World of Warcraft and that kind of stuff is a really bad idea. Minecraft is another really bad idea. I can't even describe how bad of an idea it is. You might not think much of it at the time that they're playing it, but it's a bad idea. It's kind of like cocaine. You only got to do it once to get addicted. Now, I admit, I play video games, but they're completely non-violent. Here's the kind of video games I play. American Truck Simulator and Farming Simulator. That's it. Nothing else. I've played Call of Duty. I've played a lot of video games, and that's where number 4 comes in. Is be careful of what you allow your kids to start. And educate them. Seriously, you've got to educate them. Don't just give them what they want automatically. What you need to do is you need to explain to them that people go off to war and that it's no video game anymore, and that people get really screwed up in the head from it. Quite frankly, that is the reason why all these school shootings and whatnot are a pandemic. That's why we're currently in a fragile state of affairs as a global economy. And I ask that you, and I'm not recruiting at all. Understand this. There's a difference between recruiting and just asking a question. If you are in the religion you were born in and you haven't investigated other religions, aside from what the members of the church are saying to you, I ask of you, what's holding you back from exploring and seeing if it really is true, if the church you go to is really the truth? The church I go to is LDS, and I testify that it's truthful. I testify that I can find the answers on my own within the scriptures, within the Scripture Library app, which is not just the LDS app. It is the National Scripture. It's pretty much a scripture database, but it's managed by the LDS Church for keeping it updated, fixing it, typos and whatnot. And everything from pandemics to what led up to the coming of Christ, there's a portion of the Bible about Moses. And the portion about the book of Moses within the Holy Bible tells his storyline. But what not many people understand or read what not many people read and understand in that book of the Bible is, and this is number 5 here, by the way. And quite frankly, I'm no Bible humper, and I'm no Bible thumper. But I'll tell you right now, I know what's coming. We're about this close to the next coming of Christ. This close. May not seem like much, but we're in dire straits. As a planet, we're in dire straits right now. Look at what's going on. There's a city and state I want you to really look in depth. I want you to ask yourself, does the Book of Mormon coincide with Salt Lake City's history at any level? I want you to look at that map. I want you to read that book of your own free will. I just want you to ask yourself, is it true? And the portion of the Book of Mormon that I'd like you to take a look at is I seem to recall it's Jacob, chapter 5. But the one how to confirm which one it is, it's the very longest chapter in the entire, it's the very longest chapter in the entire Book of Mormon. And it's the 5th chapter of one of the books. To narrow it down, There are some books that are just one chapter to it and that's it. There's some that they're like 2 or 3. Some that are 60 years, they range from 1 to like 50 or more chapters. And I ask you to ask yourself, and if you're an atheist, I get it. I've been there myself. But I realize it was actually the drugs that turned me atheist. I no longer do drugs. Here's the fact of the matter, and quite frankly, the fact of the matter is the rules of LDS are there for a reason. I can testify that they're very accurate. But I make no exceptions, and that's how I found how accurate they really were. All I drink is water. Breakfast is bread. That's not a rule of the church, but I do fastings, much like one of the rules of the church of fast at least 1 day a month. And someone was actually a missionary. By the way, they're currently on lockdown. It is mission president's orders that they're on lockdown because of Corona. But I ask you to, instead of trying to prove everything wrong and being in a negative mindset, see what you can do to look at it from a more positive aspect. Not, how can the Book of Mormon say this and have that? I can testify, and I am testifying, that the Book of Mormon and the Bible, the Holy Bible and the Book of Mormon do line up. And every day my testimony grows. And the 6th one is we have the freedom to practice religion. Religion does not have the freedom to practice on us. Keep that in mind. That's a major difference in general. And number 6 is, if your child is, if your offspring is out there exploring different religions, no matter what, they can never escape your prayer. They can never escape it. The only prayer that they can escape is one towards Satan. They can easily escape that. I pray that all of you do find God. I pray that all of you that are watching this video understand this. This is where rule number 7 of life comes into play. There is no chemical on earth that will ever help you. None. It may help your finances just a hair, but I can assure you, there's no chemical on earth that will actually help you. A lot of the chemicals, just by breathing them, the fumes of the liquid chemicals can kill you over time. Farmers last a very long time that do organic farming. And in that same chapter I was telling you about Salt Lake City, there's a part that says, and he dug the field, and he dunged the field, and I dunged the tree, I dug the tree, he dunged the tree, and the tree recovered and flourished. He took cuttings of the newly grown limbs and planted them into the ground, and the cuttings became trees. He did this once more later in the chapter. He took the dying limbs of that tree that he started with, and he burned them. There are several representations of that, and that is that your body goes to hell. No matter what, your body goes to hell. There are two types of hell when it comes to earth. There are three types. Hell number one is where you burn. Hell number two is returning to the depths of earth. Hell number three is going to jail. There's another hell. Hell number four is allowing people to walk all over you and what you believe in and take away your rights. That's what's happening in America, little by little. That's number four. We're living in hell in America. The fifth hell is spiritual jail. And this is going to seem really weird, but it's true. There's a spiritual jail. And hell number 7 is you never leave earth. Not even your spirit. However, I know my mother was a spiritual being most of her life. And she once spoke to me in a tone of voice where I knew she was really, really, really serious when I was dead angry. I was so angry I was seeing red. She had a nickname for me, and I'm not going to say it on camera. It was appropriate, but it was her pet name for me. She said my pet name, and I said, don't get me wrong. There's two types of pets. And when it comes to humans, there's the kind of pet that is abused, and there's the kind of pet that is led by God. And by a spiritual being who is a descendant of God and has accepted God for many years. And the fact of the matter is, she was a very spiritual woman. And at one point in time, I've never seen, this is the only time I ever saw her do this. At one point in time, she stood up to me. She put me on my butt. And it wasn't a little, there, sit down. It was you sit your ass down and you don't move a muscle. I never pushed her that limit again. She told me horror stories of what she had seen other nurses in the psych ward do, other doctors, so on, so forth. And it was a rude awakening. Psych nurses and psych doctors and, I can tell you right now, you don't even want to plead guilty to a crime. You don't want to take the insanity plea. You may think that they'll just let you go scot-free. Because they won't let you go scot-free. What happens when you take the insanity plea is there's a ward within every state hospital for psych patients where It's just like prison, but different. The word is called EchoPod 23-in-1. Think about that. There's a pod within every word called EchoPod 23-in-1. What you get, similar to being in the hole as Supermax prison. But you're always so drugged up you don't even remember your first name. You don't remember anything. And you die that way. On the insanity plea. Remember that. You don't remember your first name. You can't even speak because you don't remember how to speak. They come in, bam, they hit you with the injection. The only thing you can remember how to do is eat and drink. Pretty much shit in a diaper, you piss in a diaper, and they change you, much like an infant. That's honestly what this insanity plea gets you. The rest of your life, living that way. Make good choices. God bless. And remember, God loves you. He's watching you. The next coming of Christ is near. I know it's true. And do not tempt God. Thou shalt not tempt God. And stay safe out there, folks. Be good. Be safe. Break free of your addictions. Goodbye for now. We'll see you in another video. Thank you for watching Farming with Chef Matt Hammerschmidt. This has been your host, Matt Hammerschmidt. I can tell you right now, next coming of Christ is near.